All right, stand by. Video's going live and audio in a bit. All right, good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Live the Fuel show. So today we're recording on a nice motivational Monday here, kicking things off. And today we're bringing back on, I should say it's his first appearance, but he and I have already talked once already, and we're trying to get him locked down. But he's such a hustling guy, man. He's getting all over the place. We had to reschedule at least once. I've been bouncing around a lot too. This gentleman, everything around his brand is around the title Hardcore Closer. And I remember last time we talked about it, and apparently in the keyword world of the online space, especially Facebook, the word hardcore does not always go over so well. So this gentleman is actually promoting a really cool book right now too, which I've gotten on his email list for, called Elevator to the Top. And I'm going to talk more about that as well. So again, without further ado, the founder of Hardcore Closer, welcome, Mr. Stewman.
Hey, what's up, Scott? Man, I'm glad that you decided to hang out with me for a little while and let me on your show and stuff. I appreciate that. And
well, of course.
I appreciate the early shout out for the book and stuff. So that's awesome too. It's going to be a good pod. We're off to a great start here, right?
Well, yeah, man. So, and for our listeners, you're fired up here from Texas, correct?
Yes, I'm in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah. So, and I couldn't remember because the last time I chatted, I'm like, wait a minute, did he say Austin or was it Dallas? Or you were in a different part of Texas before and then you moved? I'm trying to remember what we were talking about last time.
You know what? I was born and raised here in Dallas, but I get it because when you say Texas, there's a big tech revolution going on in Austin.
Yes.
It's a bunch of weird people. You only get that if you're from around here. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But like, there's a big tech revolution going in Austin. Like Facebook's moved there, Apple's moved there. So there's like this big tech boom. So a lot of people assume that, I get it a lot. People are like, hey man, do you live in Austin? I was like, I could see how you would think that I fit that profile, but no, I do not. I live in Dallas.
Well, and it's interesting because now, did they actually move their headquarters there, or they just put a campus there, all those different companies?
Well, I think it's a little bit more than that. They probably moved their headquarters there, but then still call the original base their headquarters, but they're true. Because like you think they moved here because, let's just be real, they moved here because Texas doesn't have state tax. And California's taxed 12%. If you're making billions of dollars a quarter, that's a lot of money you're saving over here in Texas. So they probably registered in Texas as their headquarters, but they probably still called that, like the name of the building is like Apple headquarters or whatever the hell.
Yeah, that makes sense because it's kind of funny because a lot of people, again, for our listeners, guys, we get on this show and we start rapping about health and business and lifestyle. So I was looking forward to this episode because I know Ryan and I are going to dig a lot more into the business life. And I think this is important for a lot of listeners out there who maybe are still introducing themselves to the entrepreneurial pursuits, and they got the part-time hustles and the part-time stuff. And like little things like this are big things to other organizations, like where are you located, how you register, something as simple as, hey, did you put your LLC in Delaware or is it Pennsylvania? Or in your case, you're talking about Texas, or the famous John Lee Dumas of EO Fire. He's got that big successful podcast. He moved literally his whole life to Puerto Rico late last year because of the taxes. He was saving hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes. So clearly it makes sense for you.
I've had a few friends actually move to Puerto Rico, and in the last couple of years for that I was just there in December. I wasn't going to move there. I just checked it out to go surfing, but I could see why you would want to live there and a tax advantage as well, because it's like a little California. It's like got nice hills and it's kind of got a little taste of Hawaii to it too, but it's not near as far away. So I could see, but there is like really good tax benefits there. I've actually been, know John Lee. I've been on the show and stuff. He's a cool guy, but I'm being one of the people that have moved out there.
It doesn't surprise me because his online business growth has been exponential. I mean, you know what it's like, man. You understand sales, you understand marketing, you know about growing businesses. And it's like, again, for our listeners, guys, check it out. For listeners, it'll be in the show notes like it always is on the website. But for listening right now, if you wanted to pause and check him out, go to either hardcorecloser.com or go to, again, the book we're talking about here is the elevator to the top.com. And he's got it all linked from the main site, Hardcore Closer. But clearly, you know a few things about what you're talking about because you've actually had this published on Entrepreneur. And I'm reading right from his site, guys. Lighter Side, Forbes, Amazon, Good Men Project. I mean, you've been out there hustling. You've been getting after it.
Yeah, I'm in a position now, it's weird to even say this, but I'm in a position now where like Forbes emails me once a month and asks my opinion on stuff so that they can quote me in articles. I'm like one of the chosen few, I guess I'll say, which is which is really cool. You know, I used to have this saying, it was like, you know, I got it from Ted Turner. It was like, hey, I wake up every day. If I'm not in Forbes, then I get my ass to work. Now I'm like, man, I'm in there like 3 times a month, but I'm still working. You know, it's like, it's like anything else. It's not all it's cracked up to be when you actually get there. But it is cool. It has, and I do write for them, and Entrepreneur, and Hardcore Closer blog. I think writing is one of my, it's like, it's a hobby to me. And it's also something that's just like playing an instrument. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And I've been writing thousands of words daily for, 7 years now. And, at first the Entrepreneur and them, they wouldn't have ever thought nothing about me, but now I've just kind of been persistently, closing them to where, they not only now let me write for them, they'll let me publish anything I want on their sites, and have basically given me a key to their site and stuff, which is a cool relationship to have.
Well, and let's pause there real quick. You kind of just talked about how, yeah, you've gotten a lot more successful, right? You got a bigger footprint. Last time you and I chatted to get ready for this show, you've been moving your training facilities. There's been all kinds of stuff happening. And you just hinted at the point that you said, yeah, there's all this stuff going on, but I still got to work. I still got to keep working. And I think a lot of people who are beginners don't realize that the work never stops. The only difference is it's how you approach it, how you execute. And if you're intelligent and you're putting in a system that you're looking to grow exponentially, you're probably putting together a team. You're getting people you can trust to work with you, to start delegating appropriately, all of these variables, right? And it sounds like that's what happened for you here. Like, you didn't always have Forbes or Entrepreneur contacting you to quote you. You had to approach them and close them a while ago, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's been a few years now that I've been connected with all of them. But, here's the thing, like that I know for sure is a lot of people, they say, well, if I made $1 million, I would cash out of the game. Right. And that's easy.
$1 million is nothing.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that would say that if I could just make $10,000 a month, I'd be happy. Or if I made $100,000 a month, I wouldn't know what to do with it. Right. Like there's those people that say these things, and they think if they made that money, they wouldn't work anymore. Right. They're like, well, if I made $100,000 in a month, I wouldn't have any bills no more. I'll probably just live off of it and, maybe have some interest and live on $2,000 a month. There's a lot of people that think that way. There's a lot of entrepreneurs that say they want $1 million, but they would settle for $5,000 right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so the reason why I point that out is because, there's not a stopping point when it comes to making money. And you say like, Forbes wasn't always looking out for me. And I've been making a decent amount of money for a while now, but there's really never there's enough point. Because if you have something that you feel is a contribution, even if it's a landscaping service, you're making the world look better, right? If it's a window washing thing, you're giving people better vision. I mean, whatever it is that you're doing is like, if you believe that you're contributing to society and that society benefits from you, you kind of owe it to society to grow, and making more money becomes a byproduct of things, right? Like, but you kind of owe it to society to sell more of your stuff to them because it's benefiting them. So you can't say that, if I made $1 million, that's all I would ever need, because that's not true. If you're doing your job, you're going to need tens of millions, because you're going to want to hire people. You're going to want to ramp up production. You're going to want to change as many lives as you can. And again, that might be by planting beautiful flowers, or it might be by life coaching, or whatever the case may be. But there never really is that. Is there enough? And so, a lot of entrepreneurs, they get in the game and they try to put a cap on themselves. And then they put a cap. They say, if I just make $5 million, man, it's life-changing money. And they put this cap on themselves. And for 15 years, they're chasing this $5 million. They make $500,000 this year, and then $250,000 the next year because they get a little lazy. Then they might make $4 million. And they chase this whole thing without like removing the cap and saying, hey, it's my job that if I believe in what I have, to get rid of as much of it as possible. And the money that comes in simply a byproduct of me bringing change or value or benefit or solving problems or whatever it is that you're doing.
Well, I think that's a powerful point, because people don't, I'm going to put it this way. A lot of people do not understand the game of the mindset. And we are constantly, whether you're a beginner or whether you're an advanced player, we are constantly having to play the mental game. And this is something that I was speaking at this past weekend. We ended up talking a lot about mindset, this charity event that I was talking at. And what you're hinting at here, I think, is powerful. And I'd love to get your opinion on this, because how often do we assume that, we've put in the reps, we've built our mindset up, I'm good, right? I've already cracked through all these barriers and all these speed bumps. But what I'm hearing from you is that it sounds to me like, hey, man, the mindset work never ends. All it does is change and grow and modify. Just like you talked about here as far as drawing and attracting the money in to obviously pay you for your services and the value you're getting out there to the world. So there's a lot of mindset behind a lot of this. And that's what I'm hearing from you right now is that, man, your mindset in the beginning was way different than it was once Entrepreneur and Forbes started wanting to work with you. And then it got way different to where you are today, right? How do you talk to some of that to some of your followers? Like you have a very strong following online, so clearly you're impacting a lot of people. How do you explain the mindset piece?
Well, we're in the never-ending pursuit of leveling up, and we're in an unlimited video game. And so, it's not like this is what most people think. Like people on the outside, they look at business owners that are successful, and they say, "Oh, that guy's putting all of his money in his pocket, right? This guy's making millions of dollars, putting all the money in his pocket." And that's not what happens. When I get money, and my friends that own businesses, when they get influxes of money and when they get their budgets right and everything else, we're trying to hire more people. We're trying to invest more of our dollars because money, you can't just have money and it sits somewhere. Like that's not how it works. Because you have to keep using it. And so if you don't have money working for you and in some way of it coming back to you, man, you're going to deplete it. And the whole game is to keep what you make. And so the only way to do that is to keep investing it so that the money's working too. Well, guess what happens? If you invest all of your money like I do, you invest all of your money in different ventures, businesses, real estate portfolios, stock portfolios, and things like that. Guess what? That means you have to keep hustling over here to keep the money coming in on this job too, which is fueling the investments in the long-term game. Because like I watch entrepreneurs, man, they go out and they make little money and they go lease a Ferrari or get a $50,000 Rolex, whatever. Those things don't make you any money. They cost you money. And they do, like, I know plenty of guys that like, they can get the same chick and affinity that they can in a Ferrari. It's about them. It's not about the car. You know what I mean? Like they can close the same amount of sales in a shack that they can in a mansion. It's about mindset for those people. But the thing is, like, they go and they spend that money, and because they think that's what they're supposed to do, they see Hollywood do it and everything else. But the truth is, man, that's how people go broke. You have to have your money working for you, so it's never really enough. Like you can't put a number on it because you get 5 million, and then all of a sudden, your level of living goes up, right? You buy a nicer car, nicer house, right? You have another kid, you get a nanny maybe for the kids. Like
your expenses are going right with it.
Exactly. Then you hire another employee, and you get a general manager. Then my buddy Dustin Black, he's been the owner of Black Time Moving for a long time. He just hired a CEO. He's like, man, now I've got to a point to where now I can even hire somebody to duplicate myself. And and that's not cheap to hire a CEO for a company. That's not an inexpensive position, especially a company as big as his. But that allows him to step back again and into his zone so that he can make the money work on the back end.
Well, and what you're talking about right now is in one of these powerful books that I recommend to a lot of entrepreneurs. It's in my little, e-guide that I give away on my site for people, is the great book, E-Myth Revisited. I'm sure you probably have come across it in your time. And they talk about how when you build a company and you build a business, how many entrepreneurs make the mistake, not just from the financial that you just talked about, but also from the fact, like, do you understand how many hats you have to wear in the beginning by yourself? And then are you actually taking the time to define those different hats, those different roles, those different positions? So when the time is right and the money is right, you can keep scaling up by handing that hat off and hiring somebody to handle this, that, and the other thing. People that you can trust, like you just talked about, building a team. Like the gentleman you just mentioned about, hey man, I'm finally able to replace myself and bring on a CEO. How powerful is that? Like now he could technically, if this works well, he could start another whole company. Well, because he's got one company now built up to the point where he's got a guy running it for him.
Exactly. And then that guy's going to hire more people and probably do a better job because like the job that my buddy's done is already done. Like he's done that. He's put the lanes in place. Now this guy gets to come in as an outside perspective. And if everything goes accordingly, he gets to do a better job because what Dustin's already done is built for him. And again, that just allows for more money, more people to be hired, expansion, and Dustin to have to do other stuff on the back end. Same with my business, we get more leads in, we spend more money in advertising, we get more leads in, and we hire more salespeople, then we hire more support team to support the customers that we have. It's like, it's a never ending, scalable model that we're all following here. Matter of fact, if you're listening to this and you don't have a scalable model, you're in big trouble. Your business starts and ends with you. You better fix that fast.
Thank you. And actually, that's a great point. There's a lot of people, I think, especially in the podcasting world, listeners and followers, really even myself, a lot of my influencers I was looking at, even people like John Lee Dumas, man, like even him, man, it was a lot of just him and Kate, his wife. And actually, I don't even know if they're married. Are they married? But I don't know about that. But the point is, it was just them, right? And they were both building their own brands. And now I literally hear him more and more. Every once in a while, I'll pop back in and listen to an episode on his show. And he talks about, oh, I've got this person. I'm trying to outsource this and trying to outsource that. So even he has finally reached a point where, and he's multi six figures. And he's like, listen, I got to bring somebody on for that. I got to bring somebody on for that. So he's learning that trick to the trade too, is eventually you got to level outward while you're leveling upward, because you need that support system.
You do. In 2014, I got a divorce, and my lawyer was, it's like her lawyer and my lawyer, they're like going through our financials and stuff. And about a month after the audit or whatever, my lawyer calls me up and he's like, hey man, I got some good news for you. And I'm like, oh yeah? Well, you're not going to bill me anymore or what? And he's like, well, no, it's not that good. But you're not going to have to give up any equity in your company, because here's the deal, man. They determined that if you were to get in an accident, if you were to die or whatever, then your business is worthless. So you don't have to spend any money and you get to keep the business, because she doesn't want your worthless business, which works out in our favor. And at the time I was like, okay, so you're telling me I don't have to pay any equity. Okay, that's cool. But then I started thinking, well, what the hell would they think that my business was worthless for? So I asked them for the papers and the valuation and everything else. And literally the bottom line was, if something happened to me, it was over with.
Yeah.
Like there's nobody else who can be, the hardcore closer. And so, or at least I hadn't trained anybody at that point or even thought about it. Now we've made strides in different directions. Things have changed a lot. But that was a big eye opener for me. It's like, hey, if something happens to me, it's like, yeah, I got a life insurance policy and all that stuff, but what about my employees? That just goes for my kids, and it was a big eye opener. So being a solopreneur, the thing that you needed, my solution to it was, we started creating digital products. Those things will live on forever. You can go right now and buy Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn tapes, right? They're still there online.
And they're not even around anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Even though they're not around anymore. And so that was what my solution was to create these digital products that'll be here long after I'm gone, so that the business can keep running. That's
a great connection, man. Like, again, to our listeners, guys, if you do not know those names that he just mentioned, those are also people that are influencers in my professional life as well, my personal growth life. I use quotes from Jim Rohn all the time. And these people are no longer around anymore, no longer alive, but their companies and their brands, like Zig Ziglar's son has his own brand and his own company now. And then the rights to Zig Ziglar's name was sold off, and that company, because I was just at an event and there was a table with Zig Ziglar people there, and they were promoting his trainings and his educational platforms. So just like you said, they have taken his name, and now his brand can exist on beyond after he's gone. And they have employees, and they have a company, and they have training, and they have content, and they have programs. So just like you said, whether it be digital or physical, they have products. They have things that can be sold that a company can sustain itself on to pay its employees and grow. So, and now was that really like the big epiphany? That was kind of like, whoa, yeah, you just called my company worthless. I need to really figure this out and fast.
Yeah. And so what I did was it was a big blow to my ego. I'm like, what are you talking about? I got all these nice things. Like, who cares? But at the same time, it was an eye opener where it's okay. I got to create digital products. I got to get a sales team in order, because it had just been me and my assistant. So I got to get a digital product together. I got to get the sales team in order. I got to get a fulfillment team on the back end. And like I said, that was 2014. We've been doing that since then, actually. And, now I can actually step away from my business too. If I need to step away from the business for a couple of weeks, like, it runs itself as well. That's like the beautiful byproduct of the whole thing too, is that I built a real business. And the thing is, a real business will run itself.
True. Yeah. Well, it's like, I mean, it's funny because, again, to our listeners, guys, he and I were chatting a couple of weeks ago, getting to know each other, and we had some common ground, man. Like this guy's also a fellow fan of CrossFit. Actually, I think one of our meetings got moved to this meeting because I think it was actually during one of the classes you were supposed to be working out in or something like that.
Yes, for sure.
But it's like I talk all the time about healthy lifestyle balance and getting into the health and wellness stuff, the fitness stuff, because we need this, man. As you get more driven and more hustle and out there closing more business, like you kind of hint to in your brand, you need that balance. So it's like, okay, everything that we're doing, are you building it in a scalable way to point out what you just said, which is, can I step away? Can I go do a workout and not worry about, oh, I'm not there to answer the phone, and am I missing out on a business deal? Most people can't.
Yeah, and most people, they use that as an excuse too. They want to be able to not step away so that they can't go, honestly, that they can say, I don't have time to work out, man. Like, how often do you hear people say that? They look at you and they're like, do you work out, man? You're in good shape. And I'm like, yeah, I do CrossFit 5 days a week. They're like, oh man, I don't have time to work out. That must be nice. And I always think, dude, I own 6 companies that are all busy, all real companies with employees and stuff in them. Like, what are you talking about? You're busy. Don't you work like for Home Depot or something? Like,
yeah. It's very frustrating to me as well when I hear that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, have you ever had to like literally almost snap one time? Like I had a very good friend of mine said basically the exact same thing you said. And I almost like snapped. I'm like, hello. I was like, I've done it. You can do it. I am nobody special, man. I'm just somebody who finally made the decision. Like, you know what? I want to have the freedom to go work out. I want to have the freedom to say, you know what? I'm taking today off. You've got to implement these things. Now, granted, I'm even going to admit, I'm not at your level yet, Ryan. I don't have multiple companies built yet. And I'm still in that hustle mode where I'm figuring out for my audiences and my customers, like what systems, keyword, there's systems that you hinted at, what systems can I automate? Can I build? Can I scale? Can I turn into digital products, maybe online training programs, et cetera? So I'm in that mode where you already were probably a couple years ago from that 14 to 16 transition in 2014. So, and it's exciting. I'm sure you can probably reflect back, man, when you started figuring out what's clicking, it's like, oh man, we're going to build a program behind that. We're going to build a training program behind that. Like, for example, what was the program that led to you eventually growing your on-site trainings so big? Because last time you and I chatted, you guys were implementing a new office. And is that done yet?
It's being built. So dude, the commercial world is so slow. We move in June 17th.
Okay.
So, they're about 3 weeks behind schedule from what the proposed date was. We were supposed to be in at the June 1st, which is just a few days from now, obviously, when we're recording this. But June 17th will be all the way in there.
But are they giving you the excuse of permits? Like usually it's permits and the government that's slowing everything down?
No, we got into it a little bit. They kind of hit me out of left field with some stuff, not some pricing stuff, but so I got this place, long story short, because it has a 100-person conference room so that we can do our Break Free Academy live seminars in there. Okay.
Yeah, that's the whole
reason I'm there. And so they tell me after I sign and pay the papers and all this stuff, they're like, oh, but you can't do it on these 2 dates, which are our next 2 Break Free Academy ones. So I'm like, you should tell me that beforehand. I would have made other plans. And like, I was still moved in, but I need to make other plans. And so it got ugly. They're like, well, you can always rent a hotel. I'm like, that's the reason I'm here paying all $500,000 for this place. But anyway,
oh my God,
we got it all worked out. They own multiple properties. So we're doing it at another one, but that was kind of the delay there.
Oh, well, that works out. Okay. So again, to our listeners, guys, this is what we talked about before we actually aired this show. Was he had this very exciting transition happening for his brand and for his followers and his students that, hey, they're getting their own place, which is super cool. But because he's been spending tons of money on hotels and there wasn't really, I guess you basically reached that limit of scalability there. And it's like, hey man, why don't we bring this back in-house and really get it scalable?
Yeah, in hotel, just to be, for those of you, like we do a seminar and it's $5,000 a ticket and we take in 70 people on average. And it wasn't always that way. It started off with 2 people. You just stay consistent for 4 years and that's what happens. And so when the 70 people show up to rent a hotel and feed those people, because that's where the hotel makes their money, it's about $25,000 if none of the room blocks get messed up. If the room block gets messed up, it could be $50,000. And so it could be an expensive 2 days. You sit there and you think, well, dude, you made 70 sales at $5,000 a piece. But I'm just telling you, you got to pay commissions. You got to pay, 25 or 20 to 30,000, we'll say, for the hotel for a couple of days and food and everything else. It adds up. And so the place that we got, I can rent like one of the nicest offices in North Dallas for about $8,000 a month for the size that we need. And in the building, there's a conference room better than any hotel that we've ever rented out. We've done the Marriott and also, very nice hotels. It's an upscale event. It's not some broke event. This is like a way better setup. And it benefits us because we just run upstairs and grab the stuff and bring it downstairs first thing on day one. And then we've got a space that we know where everything is. We know the song and dance, and we know where to send our clients every single time. And clients come over and they feel like they're a part of what we're doing. So it's just it just makes sense financially, and it makes sense for our clients to be able to come in and stop by and use our facilities for recording videos or whatever it is that they want to do. And I just want to have like this open door place for all of the people that have been our students and stuff over the years to come to. Because one of the shifts that I made is it started with me creating these digital products, and we have our Break Free Academy is which is the product line that all the different sales and funnels and all the products and stuff that we used to sell and still do have always been under. But now I've got the next generation of up and comers training on this platform. So I've been able to replace myself as the product maker. I've interviewed like 15 people, and we've chosen 4 to do some really cool programs with some really good ideas that they have. And now I'm seeing that platform start to replace me as well. And then I've got a guy that I've been working hand in hand with for about a year now that I think is going to replace me on the hardcore closer side, like as the personality and the face. So I see these companies fixing to go through that next evolution as well.
Wow, that's got to be pretty powerful too, man. Like if you've been the face and the personality of one of the key positions there, because like you said, even to this day, you are still the hardcore closer brand. Yes, you built the teams and everything, but now you're actually looking at even basically replicating that energy and that face, so to speak, that talent. That's got to be a hard shift.
Yeah, it's not easy to find that person, first of all.
Yeah.
And this person wasn't somebody who was already on the internet and everything else. Is somebody that I've worked with over the years. It's my top producing sales guy. And has been for a while now. Came in and has been top producer for a while. And the thing with him though is that I didn't ever want to be like the quote unquote hardcore closer. It was supposed to be like this website and a brand, and I like wrote it kind of like from an underground renegade, no pictures of me type of thing. Then people outed me, obviously. They're like, it's Stewman that's the hardcore closer. And it just kind of, they started calling me that. And I was like, well, they're going to call me something stupid if I don't just like adapt to this nickname, right? And just like be like, okay, yeah, that's what I meant. I was calling myself the hardcore closer. And I just kind of went with it. But that wasn't my plan. My plan was to make it a brand, and then the brand be able to support, Travis Plum, hardcore closer, Ryan Stewman, hardcore closer, Patrick Labs, like my team from that standpoint. But it didn't work out that way because most people just know me as that guy. Like when people see me in public, which happens a lot. I mean, we reach like sometimes 3 million people a week. So there's a lot of people that know who I am, and we do it all in America, and we concentrate it in certain parts of America. So like, for example, where I live is a booming economy. So this is one of the places I'll go out, and most people don't know me as Ryan Stewman. They'll be like, yo, dude, closer, what's up, man? Because that's like the association. So it is going to be a little weird to make that shift, but we've got a really good exit plan into being able to do it.
I'm liking that, man. That's got to be cool too. Like, I could care less. It's weird though. I don't have this show only launched in September, but I've literally been out, and I was actually looking at getting some marketing stuff redesigned, like a new hat design or something that I'm working on for a project. So I stopped by this local store. It's been around forever. Like these guys are like gurus of embroidery, for example. And the one behind the counter, I walk in, she's like, Scott. And I'm like, yeah, I've never been to this place ever. And she's just like, I was like, yeah, how's it going? And she's like, yeah, I live the fuel. And I was like, okay. And she's like, yeah, I follow you online. I'm like, oh, okay. So now granted, you've been doing this a little longer than me, but I was like, whoa, that was weird at first. And
at first it was definitely weird for me too. Now I'm used to it. My kids know too. And I don't say this to be like, oh, people know me everywhere, but it is like, it happens a lot. And my kids, to the point where they're like, is that somebody who knows you in real life or online, Dad? And they're 4 and 5. Like, and so they get it.
Oh, wow.
We get interrupted at dinner. Cause you think about it, like, salespeople that I sell to make a lot of money. I don't sell to rookies. And the part of town where I live in is a nice, affluent part of the thing. And the places where I frequent are nice places and nice establishments. And usually there's salespeople and CEOs and business owners that go to those establishments, whether they be, and I travel a lot, so I'm always out. But if we all run in the same circles. Like if you come and you land in Dallas, you're like, I want to go to a steakhouse, right? Like if you're in sales, unless you're a vegan, that's like what you want to do here.
True.
So like, of course you're going to run into me when I just happen to be in there because you're in sales too, because I've been running advertisements in front of you it may not even be that I'm that cool. They may just be like, there's that dude that keeps running ads to me all the time.
There you go. That's I could totally see that happening. I love it. Well, so again, to our listeners, for their benefit, you and I got connected actually thanks to one of your hustling marketing people. Actually, I love the fact that, I don't know if it was a guy or a girl that reached out. I forget.
Courtney,
yeah.
Awesome.
So, I mean, kudos to her because you were one of the first. And now all of a sudden, I've got literally in the past 3 weeks, I've gotten 10 different people now reaching out to me trying to get people on the show, which is cool because the show is not even a year old yet. And I wasn't even expecting that right away. And I purposely have been testing this platform organically, using the power of networking and word of mouth and seeing it grow that way on purpose because I'm a marketing guy and I'm a sales guy like you. And I'm like, just for fun, I want to see how far this gets without me putting any money behind it per se. And just to see how the power of using the right connectivity. So the cool thing was she at least stumbled across us and we got us connected. So that's pretty powerful. So if our listeners here today, if they're new to the hardcorecloser.com, you got a lot of content on here. Like you said, you got a lot of digital products. I already kind of hinted at, obviously, the book. You got that free book promotion right now as well, Elevator to the Top. And actually, while I'm talking to you here, really for our YouTube visitors, I'm going to actually share this for you guys. So for YouTube, I'm going to bounce this up. There it is. So we got the free book offer, right? Elevator to the Top. And for our listeners who don't play with YouTube as much, I like the third point on here is build a bulletproof referral network of folks who send you all of their business. Just like I hinted at, the power of networking and getting people connected. So besides this, what else do you really try and get people connected to when it comes to your site? What are you trying to help people understand? Hey, man, Hardcore Closer, if you went to our site and there's a lot of services and a lot of products, this is really where you got to go. This is where you got to start.
Well, the website is designed, there's a lot of stuff on there. Obviously, like you said, the website's designed to help you sell whatever you sell. So here's what I would suggest, and I would ask from the people is first of all, when you get there, sign up for the email list. Dude, worst case happens. Worst thing that could happen to you is I could sell you something cool via email, right? But sign up for the email list there. The other thing is use it as a tool. You can search for anything. You sell solar, you're a small business owner, an entrepreneur, you need some motivation, you want to talk about funnels, Facebook ads, marketing, LinkedIn. Use the search bar on there and just use this site as a tool. I promise you, pretty much anything that you can think of or want to write about, I'm going to have an opinion in the sales and business world. I've written tons of different blog posts about them on there. And there's tons of free trainings and everything else, just like Scott's showing us right now. But there's just a plethora of content on there. But the idea isn't for you to go there and get consumed in the site. That's cool if that's what you want to do. The idea is for you to be dude, I need some sales motivation for today. Or dude, I need some cool stuff that I can sell that's going to help me make a few sales today. Or I need to learn how the hell I'm going to run this Facebook ad. Just go to hardcorecloser.com and use the search bar. It's all there. I've already done the hard work, the experiments to gain the experience to be able to tell you that I'm an expert. It's all there. There's tons of it.
I literally, just for fun for the video watchers, and again for listeners who don't know this, I just for fun, I did search for training, bunch of articles coming up. And again, back to our listeners, guys, this is why blogging is so powerful. If you have knowledge, get a site up and just start publishing content. You don't have to be great and perfect at it. Ryan wasn't great and perfect from day one. He just had a message to share and he took freaking action and said, hey, I'm going to start putting content up there. Now, granted, you go to his site, it's very polished. It's very clean now. I mean, we got results coming up. I searched for techniques, for example, just kept it general. And there's stuff going back to 2012 on here. Rockstar Closer Radio, closing techniques that work every time. So his site wasn't always where it is today. And I think so many people, and I'm going to stop sharing here just so you can actually help apply a little response to that, Ryan. But so many people get overwhelmed. They they see all these great sites like you've done or I've done, and like, oh man, I'll never get there. And I use a term all the time, paralysis by analysis. You're just overanalyzing everything. Like, guys, just freaking take action. And I think that's what I'm taking out of this too, is like you just said, like, dude, go to the site and just search for something. Start with one thing. Take action. Get a site up. If you want to go online. Get a blog up. Start putting content out there. The brand will come. The theme will come. The polish will come. How do you respond to newbies like that?
Well, first of all, when I started in this game, we didn't have lead pages and ClickFunnels and Kajabi and all these things, right? You had to learn how to upload FPF files into like Bluehost server to turn it into a WordPress and stuff. So, and I'm not a very tech person. So the first version of hardcorecloser.com looked like absolute shit. I didn't let that stop me. You know, that didn't like be like, oh my, like Ryan Dice's blog looks better than mine, right? I wasn't like that. I was like, hey, you know what? We all got to get started somewhere, and I'm just going to learn this stuff. And so I kept writing. You know, you said right there, there's stuff from 2012. If you look at how I wrote in 2012 versus that blog post that was right next to it in 2017, it's like schizophrenia. It's not even the same person.
Like night and day.
it is, like, absolutely. And so, but I had to start somewhere. I can never, like I told you earlier, like I believe writing's like an instrument, right? Playing the keyboard's like an instrument. I can never play the instrument today if I didn't start picking up the guitar and practicing daily a long time ago. I couldn't bang out Eddie Van Halen's Eruption right now on the guitar if I wasn't practicing for 5 or 6 years to get there, you know? And so that's what I've been doing with writing. And it was never, you know, here's what I took. I know that there's a bunch of do nothing people on this planet, right? Mm-hmm. And so I just took and said, hey, if I do something, then I just raised the line a little bit, because it don't take much to be above average these days, right? Average, like we got a really low grading curve, folks. It don't take much to be above average. And I just thought, you know what, even if it sucks, people will appreciate the fact that I'm hustling, and they'll tell me what I need to fix, or they'll lie to me and tell me it looks good and read it anyway, just because they want to support you, like when your grandma shows up at your school play or whatever. And so I just took it that. It's like, hey, if nothing else, if somebody's like, dude, this is a shitty article, I'd be like, well, where's your blog, buddy? You should write for all of us, you know? And but really and truthfully, I don't really have that much static from it. It was mainly people like, dude, my homeboy Ryan, he's a blogger. And my blog looked terrible for about 2 years. And then somebody hit me up. They took about $8,000 and upgraded it. It cost me about $8,000 to upgrade it. And that lasted about another 2 years. And then another person caused me about $20,000 to upgrade it. And then just last year, I spent about another $25,000 to upgrade it. So as I've made more money, like I told you guys at the beginning of the show, I have invested back into the business, which a lot of it comes from the lead gen on that site and everything else. And so I've invested to making that site, especially now it's got 1,500 different pages on there that I've created, like blog posts, training pages, videos, stuff like that. So with all that content on there, I had to keep improving it so that it was easy access for you. I know where the shit is. I built the thing, right? Yeah, but I want the public to be able to access it. And so I've just reinvested it. So if you're starting out today and you're like, my blog looks terrible, good. Keep working at it. Make enough money from it to where you can upgrade it, and then make enough money from it to where you can make it look even better. Because in the world of technology, it's just like earning money. There's never enough. You're never going to be like, my blog is the best it will ever be in the history of time, because according to Moore's law, 2 years from now, it can be 4 times better.
Very true. That's powerful, man. And see, again, the listeners, guys, he just backed it up for you guys. It's like the whole point of what we're talking about here is start taking action. I am personally sick and tired of hearing people complaining or comparing and like, oh, well, you've been doing this, you've been doing that. Well, great. That's me. So if that doesn't inspire you, what does inspire you? What is your why behind where you want to go in life? Because if you're not going to freaking take action today, you better go back to the drawing board, figure out that why. Because if you're trying to put what steps in places, blogs and everything else, everything that he just kind of reinforced for you, like if you haven't figured out your freaking why yet, you're going to crash and burn. Define that damn why and make it so damn strong that you're going to go to his site and look for tips and tricks, or my site, or go listen to more podcasts, or go follow John Lee Dumas, or go look at Jim Rohn quotes to start inspiring you and motivating you every single day. There's so many things out there now. Thanks to the online space, you're basically a slacker if you're not taking action today. And that's just something that I'm getting out of this episode that you're reinforcing, Ryan, is like, you don't have to be a hardcore closer yet. a sales and marketing professional yet. You know, every entrepreneur will eventually start picking up more sales and marketing skills, or they're going to hire people that are hardcore closers to help them grow their businesses. But even if you go all the way back to the drawing board, it still takes somebody to take action and start learning and start publishing content and getting crap out there. Don't worry about what the hell it looks like right now. That will come, but you still got to take action and put things in place. And that's what I'm getting from you, Ryan.
That's it, man. It's just like I say, you're going to pick up the guitar. You're not going to be able to play like Metallica the first time you pick it up. But if you practice and you put in the time and you get to learn how the guitar works and what strings make what noise and what frets go where and where your fingers go according to those noises, which is not something you can just take in one setting. But over time, if you stay at it, just like anything else in this life, you become better than average. You become better than everybody else. And I'm telling you, average is set really low right now. We got more people that are dropping out of the job force. We got more people that have tapped out on being an entrepreneur. And we got more people that are just said, like, giving up on life and taking a salary job somewhere. Like, we have never been at a time to be able to come in and get a land grab. In my lifetime, I'm 37 years old. There's never been a time to come in and strike and become a millionaire like there is right now. And if you're missing out on that, then it's just a simple, like, maybe you've told yourself you don't want it. Because we live in a phenomenal time of opportunity. And if a guy like me that was adopted and been to prison and lost everything in my lifetime, like 5 or 6 different times, when I say everything, I'm like lost everything, locked up in a cage. If I can come back and run 6 businesses and do everything else that I've done with $0, zero startup capital, just by taking action, then most people watching this probably been to college and at least graduated high school. I didn't even graduate high school, at least graduated high school in some level or another. So there's really no reason for you not to be above average, because average has been set low. So you're either setting the standard at what average is, or you're working your ass off to get above it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that transparency too, because a lot of people misunderstand that. They think that everybody's got to be this college educated, master degree, PhD level person. And I'm like you, man. Like, dude, I grew up on a farm. All right. I was like, I wasn't even supposed to go to college. And then I told myself I was supposed to go to college. And I spent thousands of dollars to go do that. And I was hustling through that on nights and weekends in my free time as an adult, working my way through, because no one had the money to pay for it. I had to work for it. So I'm just like you, man. Although I haven't lost everything and been locked up, that's powerful. But people need to understand that it doesn't matter where the hell you come from. The biggest difference that separates us from everybody else is that we're at least having the balls to take action and do something until something clicks and works. Instead of sitting there whining and complaining and basically ending up like everybody else you just talked about, they're just giving up, stopping their business goals. Dude, everybody can have a part-time hustle. I had multiple part-time hustles as a full-time career guy until everything clicked and realized I'm done with the full-time career guy. I'm going to build some of my own things. It doesn't happen overnight, but at least you got to have a little light bulb go off in your freaking head and say, hey, take some action. I'm getting a little fired up off you, Ryan, man. It's coming off of you.
When I was a loan officer, I worked 60 hours a week and made, a few $100,000 a year. And I still had a side hustle. I had 2 side hustles. One of them was buying and selling houses, and the other one was contract. I would set up people's real estate contracts and for investors. And so, even though I had a full-time business paying me multiple 6 figures a year on a W-2, I still had 2 side projects that were bringing in multiple 6 figures too. And I did those on the side of already having a busy business. So there really is no excuse.
I'm loving that, man. Well, listen, by the way, real quick, love the fact you brought up Metallica again, because I literally just saw them live last Friday in Philadelphia. I haven't seen them since the 90s. I was down on the field in the Philadelphia Eagles Stadium, freaking rocking out right in front of the stage. It was epic, man. They still rock like nobody else out there. And just like you said, when you could sit there in a crowd and you watch Kirk Hammett drop into a solo on that freaking guitar, man, that's just thousands and thousands of hours of repetition to get to where he is today. And it's mesmerizing when you watch that man play. I just had to bring that back up because I was like, yes, great reference to Metallica.
So I got tickets to Metallica too, 4 of them. And they'll be here next month on the 19th, I think. They're playing at Cowboy Stadium.
Nice.
And I got tickets to – so first of all, one of my friends is a hedge fund manager. So he has like this like whole – that you own seats and suites inside of Cowboy Stadium, right? Like it's like a condo.
Oh, yeah. I heard all about that.
Yeah, and so he owns 6 seats. And so with those 6 seats, you get to park where the players park, and you like go in the locker room to go to the field and stuff like that, to where the seats are. So I got backstage passes. I got underground parking, which like you skip the traffic line and everything. Dude, it's like amazing. So it's going to be I'm taking a $1 billion real estate broker with me to the event, and then a couple of my employees. So it'll be it's pretty exciting, man. It's been about 10 years since I've seen them, I think. So
see, same here, man. I literally, the last time I saw them live was, I think, the late 90s. So I just dated myself because I'll be 40 this year. So I got a few years on you. And I'm like, it's a whole different show nowadays because all the technology and these giant screens behind them. It's like watching a freaking movie play behind them on the screen. And again, I have some of it on the Instagram feed. I blew some of that up just from the event, and you're going to have a freaking ridiculous time, man, because those guys know how to put on a freaking show. I'll just say that.
They've been doing it for a long time, you know?
And that's the beauty of just full circle here, guys. He's put in the time. He's lost everything multiple times. He's rebuilt himself multiple times. And thanks to the power of his network, the power of the relationships and these businesses that he's built, and he's never given up, he has access to something that even I don't have access to. His network has access to that. He's going to have some really, really cool seats. This isn't a bragging game. This is a representation of what hard work does and some of the cool side things that come out of it. So instead of hating on people, like, respect that. Like, dude, that's what I can attain. You just have to, it just depends what your goals are. Like, you didn't always have a goal of having private seat access at a Cowboy Stadium to go, watch Metallica. This is just one of the side effects of the hard work that you put in over the years.
No, my goal is to have them play at my birthday party. Watch what happens next.
Oh, that would be sick.
We've had that. Like, I'm 37, and my goal has been to have them play at a private party by the time I'm 40, and I can afford them now. So, like, it's going to be game on when I'm 40.
Dude. And the best part is, with your private access now, you might be able to start connecting and talking to some other people that maybe have a little bit closer connection to them while you're at the event. So that's coming up in June?
Yeah, it's coming up in June. I have a lot of friends that are in the music business in one form or another. So you just never know what might happen.
Oh, man. I can't wait to see what comes out of that. So, well, listen, I want to respect your time. You guys have given you've given our audience a lot of powerful messaging today. And again, guys, please take action. Okay, stop sitting there and playing the woe is me thing. Go to sites like his. Go to hardcorecloser.com. Go check out the search window and just play around. If he's got that much content on there, throw any keyword you want in there and see what you get back. And then also his branding is very clean, so I respect that as a marketing guy. You can look for a Hardcore Closer everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. He's on LinkedIn. It's all linked on the site. I will give you props because that's exactly how it's done. You got to make it easy for people to track you down and follow you. So for you, sir.
I will say this.
Yeah.
One of the companies I own is Clixo. It's CLYXO.com.
Okay.
What it allows you to do is like it's social media simplified. It's like all your profiles in one spot. So I aim to turn it into like the yellow pages of social media, but instead of giving out all 10, 15 different handles for people that don't have it tight, like what you're talking about, then you can use Clixo, and you can go to like clixo.com/closer, and then boom, there's your profile. And it's absolutely free. There's nothing for sale. We don't even send out emails or nothing from it. It's just like a free tool for people like you.
That's a cool concept. I like that. And just for our YouTube watchers or the listeners who want to go back and see us on YouTube, I linked it on the video. So right there, Clixo, CLYXO.com, and then I bit the /closer, and there he is. So that works, man. Very cool.
And when you scroll down, you can see all of the
boom. There you go.
Media bookmarks and stuff. Yeah.
This would be cool from an app perspective.
Yeah, we have an app. It's in the store.
All right. Because I say you had the app because that'll then automatically click you over to the app. So instead of having to manually search on every app, go into Clixo, and then I'm going to go follow him on Facebook. Boom, touch, boom, Instagram, YouTube, everything. I'm going to have to play around with that later. Thank you for giving me more homework. So listen, back to you, sir. All of my co-hosts who help really grow this show and educate my listeners and now your listeners, I want to make sure you get the final words of the show. So this is your opportunity where if their listeners forget everything else that you just got done teaching us or we just got done rapping about, and obviously Metallica is an important takeaway too. What is some messaging that you're trying to get out there to everybody, to the world? Like just big picture, man, like umbrella. Listen, if you remember nothing else about Ryan and what he's doing as the hardcore closer, just remember this.
Well, there's no excuse for failure. That's my big thing that I like to tell your audience. Your poor mentality or poor me or you're a victim. If you don't think for 1 minute when I got sentenced to prison that I didn't think, why me and all this, it's like, but there's no excuse. You have those thoughts for a minute and then you suck it back up and you got to do what you got to do. So there really is no excuse. So I appreciate you having me on here, Scott.
Dude, this has been powerful. Oh, hang tight. I want to give you a proper goodbye. All right, guys. That's Ryan Stewman. That is Hardcore Closer. If you guys are not fired up by this guy and you're not following him online, you better take action today. You may not need him today. Maybe you need him next week. Maybe you need him 6 months from now. So follow him today. All right. Take freaking action. Do something for the future and grow that success that you guys have all been wishing for and driving for. But this is what we're all about, guys. We're here to fire you up. We're here to help you to keep living the fired up epic life, whether it be health, business, or lifestyle. And Ryan's helped us do that today. So guys, have a powerful day. That's Ryan Stewman. Check him out at hardcloser.com. Keep living the fired up epic life. We'll talk to you guys again soon. Podcast is clear. I just leave a little extra video for fun at the end of it. So thank you, man. This has been an awesome show. I'm glad you're able to get back on.
Yeah, me too. Send me the link to this. Just email it to me when you get it all up in a month or whatever.
I'll be bouncing it. Well, actually, I'm moving a couple people around because the next couple people were in the middle of book launches, and one of their book launches got messed up. So I literally have been moving shows around. So I'm sending your content off literally when I'm done here to my audio editor. I might be bouncing you in early and getting you right up on Friday because I had to move a couple other people out to next week and the week after. So
cool.
But I'll loop you. There we go.
I'll post it out in our groups and stuff, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, this has been awesome, and I'm definitely going to be digging more into this click. So I'm going to share that online too because that's a fun tool because that's something you guys are promoting too, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Right now it's the only damn company I got that's not making any money, but I believe long term it's a good investment. So
okay. Well, I'll do what I can. I'll get it out to my followers. So
I appreciate that, man.
All right, sir. Have a powerful day. Thanks for catching up.
You too.
Talk to you soon. Peace.